go to bed every night dreading waking up the next morning or thinking that it would probably be better if I just didn't. I feel safe in my body and I feel safe in myself.
Gender-affirming care has become a target for the political right and Republicans. Hundreds of pieces of anti-trans legislation, mostly focused on banning access to care for young people, have been introduced across the United States, and we're not even halfway through the year. Activist Lindsay Sparrow says gender-affirming care helps save their life.
Right now, despite the fact that I live in a state that wants to legislate me out of existence, I'm happy, I'm loved, and I have community. I have people around me who care about me. For the first time in my life, I feel safe to explore myself in ways that I never could before because I didn't trust myself and I didn't trust my body. I have been given that gift through testosterone. I've been given the gift of re-seeing myself for the first time ever and learning what life looks like to me in a world in which I can actually navigate it and feel safe.
Sparrow made headlines after they used their time during a hearing by the Florida Board of Osteopathic Medicine about gender-affirming care to inject their testosterone.
Trans liberation today, tomorrow, and forever.
Sparrow said they wanted to show the board what it is they were voting against.
I lived 20 plus years in a home and within a family that not only did not affirm me, but I knew that I was the last thing from safe to come out to. And after several rounds of conversion therapy and several years of a lot of that, I was kicked out. Without access to gender affirming care, without a community who affirms me, I don't think I would still be alive. I felt like at multiple times within those 20 years that I could not go on anymore, and I did attempt to take my own life. It's going to be a little different for every trans person because our needs and our access to care are different. However, for me personally, accessing HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and accessing gender-affirming care, having my top surgery and all that has been necessary and has been life-changing and would have been life-changing a lot sooner in my life would I have had access to it.
Dr. Izzy Lowell is the founder of QueerMed, a medical practice dedicated to providing gender-affirming care to trans and non-binary folks, mostly through telemedicine.
Gender-affirming care is critical to the mental health of everyone who is transgender or non-binary who chooses to engage with hormone therapy treatment, but particularly teens. So often at the first visit with a trans teen, they may come in and just be really closed up within themselves. They don't make eye contact, they don't want to talk, they speak very quietly, look uncomfortable and sad and depressed and anxious. And then we get them started on hormone therapy, even a low dose. I'm not sure if it's the actual medicine working or if it's taking a step forward toward becoming who they are. But that second visit is so awesome. Parents may have been skeptical at the beginning, but then they see their child or teen just come into themselves. They become more confident, they sit up straight, they speak more loudly, they look me in the eye, and they are just so happy. That relief from the suffering that they've been feeling, they get to be themselves. Huge study in this country has shown that close to 90% of transgender teens have considered suicide. 90% have considered suicide. Close to half of transgender and non-binary teens have attempted suicide. And the suicide rates among trans and non-binary teens are many times higher than the general population. It's not a cure-all. It doesn't prevent all suicides because it's very difficult to be transgender in this country right now with all of the anti-trans bills and the just very open hatred of transgender people.
With the increase of anti-trans legislation, particularly bans against gender-affirming care for young people, Lowell is worried about her patients' mental health.
I've been inundated with emails, phone calls, parents, families reaching out to me, teens reaching out, just beside themselves, utterly distressed about being unable to access this treatment to the point where it's causing severe mental health problems. I'm very, very, very worried that I'm going to lose some of my patients to suicide because of these bills.
Your denial of my need for this medication doesn't make my existence as a trans person any less real.
Anyone who's ever seen somebody go through this process would understand how simple it is, how straightforward it is, how essential it is for this person, and how boring it is. It's just somebody growing up to be themselves. So I'm optimistic that if people take the time to try to understand what this really is, or take the time to talk to a transgender person, eventually we've got to get things back going back in a different direction. It's just lack of understanding. People are afraid of things they don't understand. We're not there, but I think someday we will be.
Be open to hearing a perspective outside of your own. Equality isn't a pie. Some for me doesn't mean less for you.